Hi, boys and girls. We are moving on in social studies from the American symbols to the three branches of our government. Okay, so I just wanted to go over what's in your packet and then what we'll be doing with it. Okay, so here you have this flip book. Okay, this says the three branches of government, and it says the separation of powers, the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch, and then the three branches. Okay, so you have this. And then you have this, and it's all in order. So this little packet right here is little squares that you have, and they have a label right here that says cut out the statements. Okay, this one is for legislative because it says the legislative. The next page is for the judicial branch, and then the next one is for the executive branch. This is the executive branch. And then it's your judicial branch, okay? And so make sure that you keep these in order so that you know what page to use them with, okay? So then you were given an answer document. Now this is for your parents, okay? This gives you the answers. Now make sure that you are not just copying this, and that you're doing a little reading and thinking on your own so you learn about this, okay? So each document has an answer key to it in case you have a hard time with it, okay? And then there is this orange tic-tac-toe game, okay? You can play tic-tac-toe, and you're given two colors. So one of you cut this up, one's an O and one's an X, okay? And you can play tic-tac-toe with it. You go through and you read the information on there. Okay, each player should cut out his or her game pieces. Players will take turns reading the fact on his or her piece and setting it in an empty space on the game board. The first player to get 3 pieces in a row will win. Okay, so that's just kind of fun. And then this is a wrap-up activity that you sort these facts into legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Okay, we've done plenty of sorts just like this. So what that's going to do is we're going to do this first. Okay, then we'll do this sort of them with all the information that we've learned. And then after, you can play this with a family member. I bet you this would be fun to play with your parents to see how much they know after you learn a lot. Okay, and then this stays with your parents. Okay, so I'm going to go over the first thing you're going to do. I sent a video today. There's 2 videos with this. It's of the Constitution. You're going to watch a video about the Constitution, and then you're going to watch a video on the separation of powers and checks and balances, okay? And they're very kid-friendly because it makes it easier for you to understand, because this is hard information, okay? And like I said, you're just getting the beginning of this, and in the future, you're going to learn more and more and more. Okay, like David said, we already know about clouds. Well, each year, you're going to continue to maybe hear and learn more about them. Well, here, you're going to hear about the 3 branches of government. And if all you remember from this is legislative, executive, and judicial, then that's good, because then you'll know that much more the next year when you learn even more. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. Okay, and it says, so what you're going to do today is you're going to color your front page, okay, put your name on it, and then we're going to open it up and we're going to read about the separation of powers, okay? So I went through and I read, and I thought it was important for me to send a video about the Constitution, because that's what these 3 branches come from, okay? So when the Constitution was written in 1887, the Founding Fathers were concerned about creating a government with too much power in the hands of any one person or group. They wanted to create a strong government and protect individual rights too. Okay? They didn't want the king. That's why they left England, was to break free from that. And so they came over, the colonists came over, and then they created the Constitution to avoid that. Okay, but then they were worried, hey, one group is going to have too much power. So that's why they created the Constitution and then the checks and balances. And that's what this talks about. In the Constitution, the Founding Fathers created a separation of powers, okay, with 3 separate branches of the government that each had specific and limited powers. So they were supposed to do specific things. The legislative branch does something, the executive branch does something, the judicial branch does something. And we're going to talk about what each one does later, okay? So then each branch has some ability to limit or check the powers of the other branches. So the legislative branch can check in on the executive and judicial branch and make sure that they're not becoming too powerful, and vice versa. They can all check in on each other. By setting up the Constitution this way, they created a system of what's called checks and balances. Okay, so that's just some stuff that I thought was important to highlight. So then you turn the page, and this is a vocabulary page from what you just read. Okay, so you're going to match the words with the definitions. So the Constitution. The Constitution is the highest law in the United States. And you will hear that when you watch one of the videos that talks about the Constitution. Okay, the separation of powers. Separate branches each have specific powers. So the legislative does something, the executive does something, and so does the judicial. Okay, checks and balances. Branches of government can limit each other. Remember I said they can check in on each other to make sure one isn't abusing their power. The founding fathers, the creators of the Constitution, 1787 is the year the Constitution was written. Okay, so today was just an intro into these three branches of the government and why they were created and what checks and balances are. Okay, and then the other pages is what you're going to be using this packet for. So when we do the legislative branch, you're going to see the cutouts right here. You're going to cut some of these out and glue them on. So it's really important that you don't lose this packet. Okay, so that is the first thing you're doing is the separation of powers. Okay, so this is a really fun topic and something that really every citizen should know about. And so you're just getting an early start on it. And like I said, it is hard information, but I know that you'll be able to remember some of it. And then next year you'll be like, hey, I know something. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed learning about the three branches of our government. We're just getting started, okay? And you can continue going on if you want in your blue packet to finish up the American symbols. I did send something about Mount Rushmore as well. Okay, boys and girls, have a good day.